What's some of your cringiest high school stories? Completely dead silent class. I ripped a loud fart. I tried to play it off by saying that my mouth made the noise. Tried to emulate the actual fart with pretend farts for about 30 seconds. After each pretend fart, I'd say, no, that wasn't it. Let me try again. All while sweating nervously and shaking. AII freshman year of high school, that can kill me. Back when sour candies were all the rage, me and my friends would see who could hold the most in their mouth for the longest time. As someone who likes a challenge, I ended up shoveling a handful of those super sour toxic waste candies into mouth. Unfortunately, what I failed to realize is that sour stuff causes a lot of saliva production. So when my crush entered the cafeteria and made eye contact with me, I smiled, and multicolored drool literally flooded out of my mouth and slathered itself all over my shirt. She said to and walked away. I died a little inside that day. I live in a hot tropical country, but I was fat, so I tried covering it up by wearing a XXL DC hoodie everywhere I went. Even under the hot Sunday, people would ask me why I wore a jacket. I'd say I felt cold, even though I was sweating visibly. Everybody knew why. I know that now. I was in choir all 4 years of high school. We had a pretty shitty choir teacher, and most people only joined for the easy credit. But I joined because I wanted to sing. I had 100% enthusiasm and 0% talent. One rule our teacher repeated a lot was that we needed to be louder, and let me tell you, I took that to heart. I understand now that he was so adamant on this point, not because it was the #1 rule for singing well, but because all the students who were only there for the easy credit mumbled their way through our shitty little performances. This led to all of our performances following the same pattern, 17 or so students mumbling, 3 or 4 actually good singers, and me yelling. You would think I would learn after the first few performances. You would think our teacher would tell me to quiet down, or that any classmate who had to sit through those horrible assemblies would give me the heads up. But no, that's how I spent all 4 years in choir, never gaining any skill, while I yelled every song. It only finally clicked that I wasn't good when every time I asked a friend how I was, they could only reply with, well, I could hear you more than anyone. Surprisingly, I didn't have many, but one from freshman year sticks out. I was really good friends with this kid, and we had sort of a friend group, but he and I were particularly close. Everyone used to ask all the time if we were a couple. I really liked Andy, but he wanted to just be friends. Cool. No problem. So it comes time for the homecoming dance, and I had talked to most people in my friend group about asking Andy. Everyone agreed it'd be fine, because we're super close and he would obviously say yes. So after school one day I go meet this friend group, where we normally met. At this point, I had truly, madly, deeply convinced myself that Andy would definitely say yes. So I ask him in front of all of our friends if he wants to go with me, and he just kinda shrugs and goes, no a-hole here. So I'm like, oh, aren't you going? He confirms he's going. So I ask him if he is already going with someone. Nope. So finally I go, do you just not want to go with me? And he's like, yeah, pretty much. That one still crushes the soul a bit. Went to a party 5 hours early, oblivious. A girl is inviting everyone to a party Friday night. I live out of town a bit and not entirely sure if I can get back in for the party, so I just hang around after school. A buddy tells me he's going early because he plays sports with the girl's brother, so I should just come early to hang out. For some reason I think early is like in an hour from that point. So I head over about 5 PM to meet up. I knock. I hear come in. So I head in. I see the girl and her brother inside, and I say buddy said he's coming early and said I should come over. They are like, okay, you'd come in and sit down if you really want to. I do. They are setting the table for dinner with their parents. Going to have a nice family dinner and then clean up for the party. They ask me to join them. I say yes, because at this point I'm over my head. I eat with them, help with dishes, watch a little TV. Soon they are all good to go. The parents head out, and the night goes forward like nothing weird happened. Next Monday I am, but of many jokes, but people forgot about soon enough. Worked up the courage to ask a boy out. He reluctantly said sure. I then asked if he'd want my number so he could call me sometime. He again reluctantly said sure. I then proceeded to painfully carve my number into the back of his hand to the point of almost drawing blood because I was too embarrassed to ask for his pen because mine wasn't working. He never called. I was eating an awesome sandwich. It was so filling though, so I tossed it at the trash when I was done. But some random girl who probably has a very heated memory of this walked by and got smacked. I awkwardly laughed because it was unexpected. She probably thinks I did it on purpose. When I was 14 I had a crush on this girl. Her younger sister told me she had a crush on me back, which was false. So me, being the incredible naive kid I was, decided to ask her out. Only I did it from my mom's phone by asking my youth pastor to ask her for me. To no one's shock and my complete embarrassment, she said no. What followed was easily the most awkward few weeks of my life at school. Oh, I got one. So, freshman year I was going through some shit, pissed all the time, behind on my homework, and had some girl issues. So, typical angsty teenage BS. I was always pretty straight edge though. I didn't drink, smoke or used weed. But I was having a really shitty day that day. Anyways, a girl brought some brownies to school and too long didn't read. I was told they were special brownies. So, hoping to take my mind off of life and shit for a while, I ate a few. Not one. I ate several. What followed was me going on a goofy rampage throughout the school. I was sliding down the stairs singing A Pirate's Life for Me, tripping over my feet, laughing uncontrollably at stupid jokes. It was ridiculous. I even made friends with a girl that hated my guts. It's been nearly a decade and I'm still friends with her because of that day. Now, one of my friends found me and knew something was wrong. I was the angsty kid that always dressed in black, rarely smiled and was just an overall pain in the ass, so he knew that if I was doing all of this shit then something must be up. So I told him what happened and he dragged me to the cafeteria and confronted the girl about giving me that stuff. She told him that there was nothing in them. She had been kidding and my dumbass had taken her seriously. I had done all of that with nothing on my system aside from sugar. I wasn't high. I was just a dumbass. Obligatory as this was middle school, but I'm still kept up at night by this. I sent two girls "will you go out with me" messages over the phone at the same time, and they were next to each other. We used to have a school farm. 12-year-old me used to find great amusement in chasing people with pig shit on a stick. One day I chased this goony kid around the playground while everyone watched and cheered. He finally had enough, and whilst running, slapped the pig poo with the back of his hand. It flew straight off the stick and into my mouth. It just stuck there, half in, half out. Playground went silent for about 2 seconds before a huge eruption of laughter. Don't chase people with pig shit, kids. Not worth it. My best friend decided to end the friendship in 9th grade. So I left an anonymous comment on one of her blog posts asking if she knew me because we had so much in common and would make great friends. When I was a freshman I was asked by my English teacher to be one of the judges for our school's talent show. One of the acts was a bunch of 6th graders wearing clothes and just showcasing their outfits. Apparently I missed the memo that I needed to be nice to everyone, because when they came on to perform I absolutely tore them apart saying I don't see the talent in what you're doing, while the other judges praised them for wearing nice outfits or whatever. The amount of death stares I got that day haunts me to this day. My entire adolescent academic career was one giant cringe. Things such as: 1. Conveniently started learning to play the flute in school band the year American Pie came out. 2. Became obsessed with the band Evanescence and wanted to dress like Amy Lee. I wore a skirt made from strips of fabric safety pinned to a waistband over jeans. Another skirt made of a literal white eyelet bed skirt. And multiple corset tops that were basically just shirts that were too small for me. Cut up. and laced in the front with ribbon. 3 wrote terrible songs, terrible poetry, and tried to start a band called Crimson Regret. 4 attempted to write my first erotic story at the age of 13. But since I didn't know any slang terminology at the time, it was extremely literal and very decidedly unsexy. There is nothing sexy about the word penis. 5 cried all the time, got picked on constantly, and instead of doing something about it, I cried. That did nothing to endear me to anyone. 6 sang Evanescence's song Haunted for the school talent show. This did nothing to increase my popularity. 7 carried around a copy of the script to LOTR the 2 Towers that I had printed off a faint site. Sat alone at lunch every day, reading it. This is more embarrassing than cringy. Back in junior year I had a real bad UT and went to school expecting to be fine. I didn't use the restroom for a couple hours because I knew it was just gonna be a waste. 7th period comes, last class of the day, and I have an extreme urge to pee. I tell my teacher and run to the bathroom as fast as possible. Got into the stall. Stall wouldn't lock. Had to go to another one, but I was 1 second too late. I started just straight peeing my pants, and it got on the floor, and there was people in the stalls next to me who probably saw. I awkwardly walked to the nurse's office and explained what happened and asked if she could have someone from my class bring my bag to me. But the teacher had to be in a different room that day, so she couldn't answer the phone. Had to embarrassingly walk into class with my pants obviously soaked, and then to make it worse my teacher tried stopping me and talking to me while some guy right in front of us is just staring at my clearly soaked pee pants. Me and a few friends made some signs on A4 pieces of paper protesting against 9/11 and Al Qaeda, and walked around campus showing them to people. I have no idea what the duck our aim was. I don't know who we were supposed to be showing our anger to or what we were trying to prevent, being that this was in response to 9/11. We just thought we were really cool and edgy because we dared to make signs. I almost forgot to add my own high school cringy story on here. During my senior year of high school I was part of a choir group called Rendition. We were pretty much the a cappella group of our high school. But since we placed high in our state competitions, a lot of people knew about us. So during prom season some kid came up to us asking if we would sing for a prom proposal he had planned for this girl he really liked. This was normal for us because at least one person asked us to do this every year, and we usually treated it as a gig. Anyways, the kid paid us to sing Can't Take My Eyes Off of You to this girl in front of the whole varsity choir class, to which I mind you has about 80 people in it. The time comes, and we do our part at the start of class with the guy having flowers and poster in hand. At first the whole class gives a big awe, but the girl being proposed was clearly embarrassed and completely red. The girl screams at the dude saying, "Jerry, I told you a million times already, I'm not going to prom with you." To which he replies with, "I thought if I did something big like this, you'd finally say yes." The rest of class continued on with the most awkward atmosphere after this. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe,